Good evening, good evening. How are you doing tonight? We sure have a lot to share with our fellow members and for the public and those of you who tonight in here. So really thank you for coming tonight. We really apologize on the Monday which was a holiday, and such we did not have any breakfast show. And also the breakfast show on this coming Friday will be cancelled too, as I'll be also away on this Friday, so take note of it. But of course I will put out an announcement that our breakfast show will be cancelled on this Friday, but I should be back next Monday. That's right, next month. So make sure you're aware of the availability of the shows that we have. So let's get started very soon. So thank you for coming. I hope you all had a pleasant evening, right? And tonight we'll be talking something that has made a great impact by one of the broker in Malaysia. I think some of you may have came through that news, and this is what it's all about tonight in here, about fractional investing in the US market for Malaysia. Now there's definitely been a development since Rakuten has been in the market, being the first in Malaysia with a discount broker, and they are also first being the fractional broker that we've seen. Let me just bring out the website that's to show you in what we have seen. Tonight, this is the Rakuten website. Of course, US is also closed on the 4th of, I think it's a Wesak Day, I'm not too sure. But what I want to share with you is the familiarity with the first of the fractional share investing. Now do take note, I'm not sponsored or paid by Rakuten Trade, but I do have a trading account with Rakuten, and I just want to share with you, this is a wonderful opportunity where you can trade fractional square and just able to lock in. And this is some of the benefits that I'm going to share with you, and partly on why maybe for those of you who are very small on cash, especially in their funds, this using a longer term investment, this is definitely one good way to get exposed to the many facets of the benefit of the investing market. Now, many of you are known through our apps, the smart Robie that you have in here. You're able to access the S&P 500, the KLSE, the SGX, and so forth. So this is definitely one of the education follow-on that we have for our smart Robie users, and also for our Trade VSA 360 users who continue to use the Trade VSA and our Pentagon Guider impact. So let's get started, everybody, about fractional investing. So tonight, a sharing will be some update I have about the interest rate hike. I think many of you are also aware today at 3 p.m. the Bank Negara has raised the interest rate. A surprise one, actually. I did not expect them to raise the interest rate at 25 basis point, and then all of a sudden there were talks on the newspaper saying that the cost of living is going up, that's for sure, and prices are going up. So in order to arrest people from buying more, I suppose what they want to do is to raise the interest rate, and that's going to affect me and you, especially those of you who have bank loans like me, who have bank loan, housing loans. That is definitely going to be one of those impact where a higher OPR. So we examine some of the significant events of that one, and then we want to move on to fractional investing and some of the benefit for investor, and why US market is an excellent place market for fractional investing, being the online broker, the investment apps, and a lot of development in terms of the trading technology. They're able to make fractional investing to be affordable for everybody, and we're going to look at some of the big cap US market trading opportunity, and also be looking on a target profit method that I use that I'd like to share with you in here, and then followed by closing. Now, a quick update on our KLCI side in here. Definitely is this something that the market anticipating, the 25 basis point interest rate hike that we have today at 3 p.m. in here. Now the market did move up 10 points after it came back from the so-called Vesak. Okay, not Vesak. Vesak is tomorrow. The Hari Raya, so-called the post-holiday of the Hari Raya, and that's what we are seeing the market in here. And today even You could see it has a very nice spring in here. As long as it stay above this 1440 in here, and it looks like it's going to retest back the 1450. But take note, the last green pentagon that we have was about 15 bars. And if you look back the last 6 months, a lot of the green pentagon, which you see the blue trend zone in here, I think some of you may have known this, does has a long period of uptrend movement. Last round, first time turn green pentagon, which is almost similar to this part, and you have some strength in here, but we did have a sell-off. But like now, we do get some pass. This last 4 bar that drops actually significantly was also due to the foreign funds was selling off. Now with the higher interest rate, we might see foreign funds coming back in here, but definitely from a technical side, we have the second out of the 15 green bar, which is ongoing. So we do see a coming up, because I was expecting the red pentagon to actually turn with the yellow trend zone that you see here, would have probably another 1 month or so. After all, we did talk about gold in May and sell in May and go away, right? So that was a point. But surprisingly, the market reacted to maybe early on to the 25 basis point and then started to turn back green pentagon, and we do have some volume coming up. So it'd be interesting to see in respective how would the US market react to the now. Much has been said about the Bank Negara surprise 25 basis point on overnight. That makes a lot of our transaction, in terms of loans, housing. And those of you who have many loans will definitely feel the pinch. If you have a house loan and a car loan and other personal loans, this is definitely going to feel the pinch. But you look at respectively, inflation definitely has gone up. Now this is also from the Bank Negara, going back to 2009 to the pre-COVID basis in here. It was actually standing about 3%. So we are at pre-COVID level. And then when COVID came, the real impact was on the March 2020, that's where country is really going to a tailspin. We have the interest rate been lower to about 1.25 basis point. So you can see now we are back to 3%. So this is pretty much the reflection of our economy moving out from the pre-pandemic and pandemic. We're moving into post-pandemic now, and we are back to where we started 2019, and hopefully the economy do grow back and what we have seen so far. So it's kind of interesting to see. We would never ever be in the 1.75. After all, we do have the inflation rate that is much higher than it is. We all know our favorite nasi lemak is cost more, and even today the lunch that I went out, significantly eating kind of hawker food in the restaurant, you really have to pay up what you used to have than we here. So definitely that's one way to cover it. So as such, that this is the so-called strength of the US dollar to Malaysian ringgit that you see here, and because of the interest rate rise, we did see likelihood a temporary strength in our ringgit US dollar in here. But overall, I do feel that on the longer term with the trend, ringgit would definitely stays favorable, being a weaker currency than the US dollar, making our export cheaper. The last time we had was during the pandemic. You can see a lower interest rate. We hit up to almost 4.7, 4.8. Since then, 2023 was a much better year. Beginning of the year, the market really strengthened. That's also due to the ringgit of Malaysia being pegged to the Chinese yuan, and they are reopening the economy. You can see that pops back up. And then when around the market impacted many of the lockdown that we see in China, then it started to weaken. Same thing, also ringgit weaken in here. Like it or not, we have been so much influenced by the Chinese yuan in terms of our currency in here. So it's better to pay notice to that rather than any so-called rise in oil prices and so forth. I think eventually the economists, people also have to acknowledge this. Pretty much we are impacted by the good evening, Nora. Thank you for coming this evening. So pretty much on the fractional investment that we are talking about, and this is definitely one way, and I do feel that many of the younger millennium are able to do and benefit from them. So you can see the Federal Reserve rate, and this is from CNN News, much of what we've seen before last year, the big major fall in 2022, where we have the 75 basis point June, July, September, November. That is almost 3% interest rate hike that causes the market to collapse. And usually market does not like too fast of an interest rate move. Usually it's a 25 basis point. We did have a 50 basis point in December. That's the last one, and we did see the market bottom up at the December. Remember, right? December it bottomed up, and then January it rallied because they're going to a slower interest rate, 25 basis point, and March another 25 basis point, and the next one it's happening right now in May will be another 25 basis point, not the 50 basis point. From what I'm seeing in here, and a lot of economists and traders are seeing, this is where the current level is, the federal rate target, which is around 5% here. They are likely to go to 5.25%. Unlikely we're going to see 5.5. This is the months where the Feds meet, okay, and take note of it. So the last time where they actually meet, it was a 25 basis point, and going for that, it will still be a 25 basis point for that one. So that means the rates will move gradually, and a lot of talk about the market will pause interest rate in the second half of the year and maybe even pivot. So the part that we say pivot is when the US interest rate will start to reduce, where they U-turn, they will cut interest rate. So when they cut interest rate, you will see likelihood of a second half of 2023 rallying. So tonight, no surprises, the 25 basis point in here. Now, more importantly, when they raise the interest rate that you see right now, it's important that we look at the this chart on the US inflation rate, which was 4.98. Now, I do note that many people look at CPE, core CPE and all those, but I just want to keep things simple. We just want to look at the overall trend of the inflation in here. Now, many of you may also argue and say that no, this is not reflective of the inflation rate. But again, these are official rates. Whenever you go out, you buy petrol or you buy certain food, it does not justify it. But what is evidence is this is the core inflation rate, because the impact that most people feel and the things that they buy are normally delay effect. These are the official. They tend to move ahead in here. So if coming month of April, which is another 2 more weeks, the April 2023 inflation rate, if it does drop below 5%, then we will likely to see a pause of interest rate. Right now, they do feel that with the scenario that is going on, a lot of people are talking about recession on the news inside there. Now, the fact that the more people are talking about it, sometimes it's more unlikely to happen. They've been starting talking since 2022, and every month they're going out with the same thing. It's like a broken record in here. So for me, I rather pay attention to something that you see inside the inflation rate. And by the time they do announce the interest rate, officially interest rate pause, and then followed by recession, and then they will cut interest rate, you will see this stock market again, time and time again, I keep saying in here, this stock market is going to run up. So what we are talking right now, the fractional investing in the US market, giving you a low entry to diversify out from Malaysia to the US side, is definitely very timely. But of course, the stock market, especially in the US sense, are always move up in the wall of worry. Now, just that now this is the first week of May. Then next week, we will be talking about a more damaging news is the US debt ceiling default, right? Because if the politician in the Congress between the Democrats and the Republican not able to agree where the House will pass the US debt ceiling by another trillion or so, right? So this is we are almost at 32 trillion US debt level, and I do tell you, every 2-3 years you will see this again. The last time where they actually had until they actually defaulted by 3 or 4 days was during the Obama time. I still remember that. That time President Ma was 2011. That's right, 2011 was the last time they defaulted it, but they managed to resolve it because the US government were not able to pay their workers, their postal worker, their policemen, and so on and so forth. So they have to agree something. So will we go through this into the end of May, likely to see that. But right now, they are playing political game show between the Democrats and also the Republican in here. So this will be the continued news that you'll see in here. But I do know that very likely they will pass through it. So that is why with the US debt ceiling that we see in here, no wonder that the market is not just going to go up, because they still have this pending news. And remember, stock market doesn't like uncertainty. So with this uncertainty, that's why we are likely to see the market pause moving sideways in here. So what are your plans should the market go higher? Now, I've just said before, with the end of May, likelihood the US debt ceiling need to be raised, and that's why we don't see this market shooting up higher than it is. It's of course at the same time many people are talking about recession and so forth, but the market is still holding up very well. Just be above the 40-day moving average. You can see here, right? This is the Nasdaq, which very sensitive to the interest rate hike in here. So they are expecting a 25 basis point, then the market able to move up. So after pausing in the March, where they have a 25 basis point, the last time they have that interest rate rise, you could see, right? The market should straight up. We have one in December. That was a time where they raised the interest rate, and then the market should up. So the same thing is happening right now, that we see the May interest rate hike, and that's why the market's not moving. But once there is confirmation, the 25 basis point, then we like to see the market end towards the end of the US debt ceiling, where they can agree. Then you can see this market really hitting around 14K. I do think that this US stock still got some room to go, and we will probably be on the second half of 2023. So what is your plan? All right, that's the question I want to ask. Many of you in here, especially those of you may have decided to invest in US, or some of you are still thinking about US, but it's too expensive. I only have a couple of $100. How can I invest in US? I'm interested to buy Apple. After all, Martin every time also talk about Apple. I haven't bought Apple yet because it's too expensive, right? So what is your game plan in here? And to our benefit, being a Malaysian in here, we have Rakuten, but I do think that other brokers are also coming in with fractional investing. Just that Rakuten is one of the pioneer coming in first. Previously, we have only one or two brokers that is dealing in cross-border. Now we have many more of it. So fractional investing, it's not trading, because some of these stocks may not be the kind of liquid when you do fractional. I'm yet to test out the fractional investing in Malaysia, because I usually buy one share or two shares of it in here. So fractional investing is buying a big portion of the stocks, because some stocks are going to talk about trading purposes. If you are trading purposes, you can actually buy Nvidia, which is around 350. It did went up to about $600 per share. So a 0.01%, which is a portion of the stocks rather than a whole stock, make it more easier than affordable. And especially for those of you, if you have 1,000 ringgit, and if you divide it by 4.4, right, the US dollar in here, that also means very difficult to diversify. You can only maybe buy technology stock, but if you want to buy oil and gas, you want to buy industrial product, or you want to buy biotech, so there is no chance for you to diversify out, because the dollar of these high price shares is just beyond for most people in here. But of course, driven by the technology advancement in fintech and getting more popular as more of the mass market, the new millennium, especially those of you who have don't have a high saving income in here, they're able to come in with the online broker. This is something already been pioneered in US, and I do hope that one day we're able to do fractional investing in Malaysia. They don't have so much fractional investing because the shares that we have in Malaysia are still to one lot or 100 shares in here. But in US, many of these stocks actually tend to be higher price, and that's where we see it is, right? So when it comes to fractional share, you have 1,000 US dollar in here. If you just buy, Amazon, it will cost you like something like 3,000, right? But you only have 1,000, so you only can buy one choice. But the fact that if you have 1,000 US, you can actually invest in the whole group of shares that we see here. First one, this is Domino's, Apple, Netflix, Target, McDonald's, Facebook, Google, Nike, Procter & Gamble, this is AT&T, right? Of course, there's a host others. You can buy Hershey's, Coca-Cola. So that gives you a chance to have a very well diversified portfolio, and you can actually participate and see how the share price move in tandem by especially those of you who have the smart Robie apps using the Pentagon Guider to go in and out. So this is definitely one way you have a chance to look into this. Eventually I'm going to just share with you how you can get onto the Rakuten online trading platform just to put in those trades in here. So this is something you can also do very, very easily with the fractional trading. So you can have a full basket of very well diversified shares, which in the past only given to the high income or high account holder in here. So now we can do it. So how fractional investing works, basically it allows the smallest portion that is allowed by the current broker that we're talking about, Rakuten, is 0.01 shares, all right, which is for proportional price. So you can buy a fraction of shares, you can access it in here, and Rakuten is pretty good. Having said that, there are others you can do so, but not fractional investing. They may come a bit later, but most of the accounts you can open without actually stepping into the office or even seeing a broker. Most of this could be done through what we call online opening, and just need to sign digitally on the account and you'll be fine. And one thing also good about this, you can also invest on ETF with fractional investing that you have, which give you another era of diversification. Another era of diversification. To me, this is really wonderful. Cryptocurrency, yet to see it, but of course you can always buy those crypto related shares in here, right? And this is available in here. So some other benefits, as I said before, you can access high prices. Berkshire Hathaway, which is about the A share. There's a B share. B share is about $300 in here. So now you can buy the A shares if you want to, which have very, very little volatility in here. Good thing, you can diversify, as I said before. Rather than investing one or two stocks, you can buy, spread out a few more stocks. No doubt the fees wise will be relatively inexpensive if you're using Rakuten. So we haven't seen the real impact if you actually buy some of these shares and how much of the cost of the commission in here. For those of you who started do share in the timeline or in the comment in here, how much of impact of the fees and commission would you share? And last but not least, on the side here, most important is that you can invest a small amount every month, just like a saving account. And today, even on the paper, on the newspaper, they talk about many Malaysians are not financial literacy. So here, Martin Wong here from Trade VSA doing a small part to educate our Malaysian in here. I do hope that you can give me a thumbs up, and partly even for a small amount, 100 ringgit, 500 ringgit per trade, you can actually do this already and adjust your portfolio much easier in here, that you don't have to wait for a big amount in here. It's just that most Malaysians take a long time to address this issue, but here we at Trade VSA, we wanted to know the opportunity is here, and you're able to do fractional investing much easier by even investing just simply 100 ringgit or even 500 ringgit per trade size. Is really up to you. After all, the minimum size is 0.01. Of course, not all shares you can do fractional investing. We can look at the trade in here. As long as you can see the 0.01 and you can adjust that, then you'll be fine. You can't do 0.13. Okay, or 0.012. It's going to be a fraction of 1. All right, just like those of you who invested in cryptocurrency, 1 Bitcoin, but if you don't want to buy 1 Bitcoin, you can 0.000 something, right? And in many ways the same thing to here. So why US market, right? Of course, US market being one of the bigger size and liquidity, I do think that a lot of the fractional investing now are just strictly on the large cap stock. And more importantly is the US innovation. Some of the stocks that I talk about in here continue to innovate, and who can not forget ChatGPT just came out last year in November, and it looks like it's been around for a long time. It's only been with us for 6 months only. You can see how much of the environment and the landscape has changed in the IT world and computing. And again, now we talk about diversification. Rather than having a small amount, you can buy 1 or 2 shares. Now you can diversify to 5 or 6. With fractional investing, all you gotta do is just get up your spreadsheet or use a calculator to do this, and you can diversify very much better in here. And the US economy are rather stable, right, over the longer term, due to the not so much of the GDP or the US debt ceiling, but due to the what we call a high spending consumer economy. They have about 360 million people. And just think of it, the amount of money they spend, they continue to buy. And that's what really making US economy a consumer-driven economy. Compared to Asia, many of our Asia is high savings in here, which is not a good thing. But if you have everybody saving, no people consuming, it's also bad for the economy, right? So depending how you see it that way. So many of these stocks that we talk about here, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, Nvidia, JP Morgan, Johnson. Now you can actually do fractional investing in here. That's what certainly very great. So some idea I want to share with you in here, you're able to do so. Now on our VSA 360 US stock screener, on the large cap, just want to share with you some stock pick or stock trade idea that we have. Definitely from here, MasterCard, Nvidia, Berkshire Hathaway, and there's another banking stock, but it's a mid cap. So this thing just turned Green Pentagon about 3 days ago. This was 2 days ago. Let's take a look. Excuse me. Let's take a look at Berkshire Hathaway. All right. So the first one is Berkshire Hathaway B shares. Okay, Berkshire Hathaway B shares. You can see it actually turned Green Pentagon. All right, on 327. There was a big fall yesterday by 1.3%, but this morning is up. In the US sense, so you can see it's just turned Green Pentagon in here. And again, that this Berkshire Hathaway is a reflective of the financial financial sector of the US. Now, if US were to go higher, like just what I've said, the Green Pentagon, so many of these stocks will continue to break higher. The old high was 331. Right in here, and we'll talk about the target profit using the VSA 360 to project some sort of target from in here. So this is a good one, Berkshire Hathaway. All right. Next, so what's on the FA? Okay, so for the FA side, you can actually go on to the three dot here. You see the financials, and you can turn to the financials of the trading view, and that's pretty good. You can see overview. This one, it was a loss making, right, because of the last quarter of the banks. They don't pay any dividend, to take note of that one. So you can see here, EBIT was 13%, net income was -8. Despite of the net loss that they have, 22 billion here, stocks didn't go down that much because this is the future earnings in here. So it's kind of interesting to see, despite having let's look at the statistic. Return on equity is minus, losing money still. The stock can tahan one, right? It is the future value of this one in here. So if you don't like Berkshire Hathaway, you can look for another stocks, right? So no meaning one, loss making also still make money. So next one we have is MA, stand for MasterCard. All right, MasterCard, MA. So you can see MA, MasterCard. The one we all know, you've got MasterCard. You can see it in here. And if you look at MasterCard, also very similar to the financial. These are all financials, just like Berkshire Hathaway. You can see turn Green Pentagon here, right? And the last time we turned Green Pentagon, it actually make a nice one. And then the last two sell-off that we have, this is on the credit transaction, will benefit from there. You can see this is almost all-time high. The last high they made was January 23. So again, whether the market can go higher beyond that in here. But if you're playing a shorter term trade, there is a possible trade in here. Just turn Green Pentagon in here, and this is a nice pullback. If for some reason next week we look at it, some of these stocks started to move back up, and then this will be good. So that's MasterCard. Next is Nvidia, right? This is everybody's favorite, which is also the ChatGPT was one of the biggest driver. Let's take a look at the fundamental for this one here, right? So you go on to financials, fundamental overview. You can see this is paying a small dividend, 37.94, right? And MasterCard in here. Look at the net income, almost 45%. Very good, net income. Let's look at statistic. Price return on equity, 156% up here. So this is definitely one of the strong, no debts, and certainly one of the reasons why people should buy MasterCard. MasterCard in here, strong earnings, continue to grow. All right, last but not least is the Nvidia, which is the innovation that we see been driving all the AI technology. Nvidia, I think a lot of people have been talking about it. It was in January around 155. Now since it got 277, it did turn Green Pentagon on the 1st of May. Okay, since then has wobbled back, pulled back. So this is actually a nice pullback that you see in here, but I do think that it will probably hold at this level in here. If you do not like to buy on the breakout of this one, you can sort of hold back on 269 in here. But if we do break back up here 288, it's possible this market can run. You can see the last few options has been kind of very responsive. The green pentagon move up, green pentagon move up, green pentagon move up. Now it's just a matter of maybe sideways before we see whether the interest rate news that we'll continue to see tonight will hike or not. Let's look at the financial tool. All right, for NVIDIA, go to overview first. You can see, wow, look at the PE, 166 times. That is a very expensive in here, and net income is only 16. So all through that, I prefer, MasterCard, MA, but this is again a technology stock. Generally, they do move up pretty fast. Okay, so that's the FA in here. Now, how do we do projection? Target profit using seasonal. Now, this is on the VSA 360 in here. One of the things that we really want to do is to pay attention when are the bullish months. All right, you can see the bullish month tend to be in the end of the year and beginning of the year. So May, generally, summertime, they just turn red. So in May, if we turn green pentagon, then we are talking about 7 or 8% in here. This is for Berkshire Hathaway. The last time it had was after a big fall, it turned back up. And usually when you see this kind of 0.8, 1%, we would expect June is likely to drop a bit more. So June may not be the one. But if you do take any profit, realistically a 6 to 8% entry from where you are. Especially for fractional investing, it does make a lot of sense where you want to have a smaller profit target, able to see how the market move ahead in here and able to make. I know 500 ringgit for 6% return is not a lot. You can do intraday trading, but that allows you to learn more about the US market and allows you to do fractional investing. For start, treat this pretty much like a tuition fee to really learn more about the market in here. All right, using the next one we have is the MasterCard. And MasterCard, you could see generally the month that is bullish starts from October onwards. Okay, you can see October. If it does come in July, it will be a good month in here. You can see never lost money. Even last year only down 1%. And this one, if you look at it, just taking average between those two consecutive months, right? We have May was negative in here, and I do think that May may also turn negative. So even the green pentagon that you have now may not be the kind of trade that it is. But if you do want to take the trade, have a tight stop loss or not, you just have to wait until July will be the time. So the seasonality target profit is pretty good to look into the kind of return. So if you do have buying sometime in June, then you'll look at July for the kind of profit, maybe 7 to 9%. Now, NVIDIA is a different story altogether. Now, those last two were financial product. NVIDIA is a technology stock being listed in NASDAQ. It did fell a lot last year, 50%, but average return per year is about 95% in here. So you had a good run, 33, 18, plus 20. That's almost a 60% run in here. So with that, you want to take about a 20 to 30% profit. Now, right now, you can see for the month of May, not spectacularly if it does, but you can notice in here the many years that it actually had a good run. So who knows, NVIDIA being listed in NASDAQ may pops its head up and started to run up. That's why they have to really diversify out between these two stocks in here. So with a setting of 20 to 30% will be more realistic for NVIDIA, right? Or if you do buy that one, then that's where now let's turn our attention now here to another platform fee comparison with the fractional investing in here. With this is from a blogger website called No Manila, so thanks go to them. So you can see FSM1, Maybank, MDIV Invest. Rakuten certainly is a discount broker, and it doesn't have the kind of quick functionality that you need as an intraday trader. It's a pretty simple setup in here. Do use the website. I have not used the apps to actually buy some of these shares in here. And if you're just swinging and hold it for a longer period of time, maybe about a month or two, like going for the 6-8% that I described of, Rakuten trade definitely made. So you can see from a trade value of 200 ringgit makes sense. If you're fractional investing, you're paying $2 or 188 in here, right? That's a minimum, right? $2 or 188. in here, 9 ringgit or 188. That's a minimum amount in here, all right? You're paying $2, but 188 is about $2 US in here. That would be the maximum amount in here. So once you get in, if you're logging in for the first time, they will ask you to sign the foreign trading terms and condition in here. And once you get in, you will pay notice that this is where you can switch on to 0.01 unit. All right, so this is where I want to share with you. If I let me get in first, let me see. I'll just show you how I get in. All right. Yes. So let me just bring it out here. So this is the login account. So you can see Apple open up. Wow, right? 1.1% in here. So you can click on buy, right? So it's 170 here, right? You can see here. And this is where you can see the minimum amount. Can you see this? This minimum amount. So you can buy 0.01. Okay, and I select the currency US dollar 170. So I'll probably buy at I don't want to chase it. Let's say I buy 165. Okay, 165. I key in my PIN number. All right, then there you go. So it is buying limit price at 165, and you can see here 0.0 is only $3.86 US dollar. All right, you get a chance. I know that's not a lot, but it does give you a chance for you to buy some of those shares that we talk about in here. Let's take a look at the other shares that we have in NVIDIA, NVDA. Okay, NVIDIA Corp. This is 275. Oh, it's down 7.22% in here. Okay, so this one is down 2.5%. So let's take a look at our stock prices. NVIDIA, yeah, it's down here. So it's pulled back a bit in here. That's $4.147 in here. So it's coming back to the support. We want to see it form a pullback, a more advanced trade in here. If you want to get it after the green pentagon, then your ATR stop loss will be here around 258. Okay, 258. So this is where you can put 0.1. This also allows it. Let's look at some ETF, XLK. Okay, and do they allow the ETF? So yes, 0.01. So definitely you can buy 0.01. Okay, let's say I want to buy at 145, right? And I key in my PIN number, and that will tell me how much. Let's say I change it, keep it in ringgit, and I click confirm. You can see it's only $9 only. 9 ringgit, but I think the commission will probably cost more than that. All right, so that's definitely one way you can use a really significant, and you can trade it like a game, you know, maybe use 100 ringgit to play around with it. And of course, when you put money back in there, then you can definitely see why you want to be, and then pair together with the green pentagon in here, definitely make your investing trading much easier to follow and feel. You can see Apple, since turning green pentagon, a nice pullback here, started to pick up today, up 1.8% already. Right, I think this one is the earnings season is coming up. I think Apple, yeah, that's what I think is moving up ahead of the time. And usually Apple after earning jatuh one. Okay, I show you last time. Here earnings already, then sideways moving, didn't go any much. But this was down, surprise 3%. But if the earnings here on the good side, positive, you will jalan one. Okay, so if you do jalan also, you can see looking back to Apple, look at if you have VSA 360, look at the seasonality, then you're able to determine how much is the profit target in here. All right, this is quite responsive, as I said before, for the Pentagon Guider for Apple. All right. So that's just a very quick one. You can use fractional investing, pretty much the same. In the past, you probably have to buy one share. All right, so you put one share, and you can see one share is confirmed. It will tell you, oh, price is invalid. I need to set up here. Okay, this is Apple. No, this is XLK. 145, right? Confirm. That's 658 ringgit. All right, now let's say you don't have 695, you can put 0.01, that will be $6, right? And I think it'll be 6 ringgit, all right, to trade. That's not too bad. That's 6 ringgit to play around with the shares, and it also has a bit of fun too. Do you agree? Now, if you agreed what I've just said here, this is definitely a good way to learn about fractional trading. Give me another thumbs up in here, all right? So we done this part in here. Let's go on. So why this is important now? The week before, I was on the live Facebook. I was talking about there are many so-called stock market pundit who continue to get it wrong. So check out the video that I did last Wednesday on our Facebook, also on YouTube, that if you ignore the major trend of the stock market in here, you would have missed a very nice 300% stock market up since 2009, and while bonds only doing 11%. Here you can see a lot of this. I think I showed you all last Wednesday too on my live Facebook. Here you can see many negative news, but if you need to know some of the reason why this market continue to go up, always pay attention to the US innovation and also to the earnings in here, right? So I know pundits usually want to scare people, but they can also get it wrong too in here, all right? So what are the disadvantages of the so-called stocks that we have for fractional investing? Of course, right now we just look at some of those big liquid shares that is offered by Rakuten. They do have the fractional trading, but not all of them have it in here. If you do have an account on Rakuten, you can check out some of the smaller cap stocks. They may not have it at all, right? Some of them may not be tradable, right? You're not able to, so you need to make sure you're able to sell it out, buy it. I think buying wouldn't be a problem, selling may be a problem, and broker will probably charge some fees for this one in here. Rakuten yet, I cannot conclude what is the charging. Are they still keeping at the minimum 188 US dollar in here? And also, of course, you also have to check whether you have voting rights, because you may not have the voting rights because you only 0.10 compared to one shareholders if you decided to vote for that one. So those of you who are doing fractional investing or thinking to do fractional, please do some research online. Do ask the friendly broker that we talk about in here. So some of the best practice is that discount broker is preferred, right? All things being into, I just shared with you the platform fee in here. And if you want to start up fractional investing and want to learn those trades that we talk about, right? Buying 5 ringgit of Apple shares, make sure you invest cash that you don't need in the 5 years. And also always look for liquid stock, the large stock, and then any stocks that you have, even if you form a portfolio, limit it to 15% of the portfolio, right? It could be 500 ringgit, 5,000 ringgit, any stocks it is, maximum is 15%. Huh? And also, because the market right now is not in a nice smooth uptrend, we do share with you some of the idea that we have using the VSA 360 seasonality as a target profit, which is highly recommended in here. All right. So right now you can download a copy of the Smart Robie apps available in 4 exchange in here doing that. So I come to the summary, very quick one for tonight, fractional investing. There's still a lot of unbeaten and undervalued shares, especially in the context of fractional investing, making it a low cost entry in there. All right. Now it turns out to be much efficient in terms of your reward to really learn about fractional trading, and you can do those trades in here. So it's definitely one way to test out some of the ideas and use the VSA timing tools, our Pentagon guidance there to help you and also allows you to have money eventually earn for you in here. All right, be a contrarian trader. As I said before, the stock market always climb on a wall of worry in here. All right, so that's all we have for tonight. From a Pentagon creator, myself here, Martin Wong, and tomorrow is a public holiday, so I wish all our Chinese friends of those Buddhists who is following the Buddhism practice in here, happy Vesak Day. All right, for those of you who are not traveling, going for a holiday, travel safe and don't overeat. Okay, you still need to come back on Friday. Do take note, on Friday I'll be taking a day off from the breakfast show. I'll be back on next Monday in here. All right, and I'll give you more updates on the coming Monday as such that we have. So that's all we have for tonight, and don't forget to share this Trade VSA Telegram stock chat for all stock market idea. And if you have any question you want to ask me about fractional trade investing in US, that is definitely one topic to get you started on the US market in here. With that, I thank you for your time and good evening.